Hey, Dr. Joe. My name is Chauncey. I am a student in your Marine Science 210 course, spring 2026. And I want to tell you about my perspective on chasing the coral. I enjoy how the documentary wasn't just about the basic facts of the coral reef that could be easily searched up online. It was mostly about their journey and them bringing viewers along on this trip. It actually felt like I was there while watching this because they literally talked about and like explained every piece of it and showed us every piece of their trip they showed us like everything from the airport check-in all the way to their progress they made in the end. It even showed us their solution and what really brought them there. And I really enjoyed like watching the whole documentary. And like now I took notes from the whole film that I watched and like basically just what I learned. This is basically just what I learned from the whole film and like what I took away from it. What I have wrote down is that in 1997 and 1998, the first mass bleaching ever reported. And what I basically learned was like bleaching is like basically just coral just dying off, like basically like they going extinct, basically what, to my understanding, they going extinct. And then after that, 12 years later, it happened again. Then Hawaii had the worst bleach ever. A first sign of a coral dying is when bleach turns white. Like when the coral starts turning white, that's the first sign of it being bleached. Which is it's basically like bleaching your white clothes. It's like basically just them dying off slowly to extinction. The cause of bleaching is global climate change from emitting carbon into the atmosphere. Which is 93% of heat that is trapped into the atmosphere goes into the ocean. It's just saying that like everything that humans do, like it still affect the ocean below. Like even though we isn't like the humans that are creating this heat isn't like physically in the ocean with them, it's still like making bad effects to everyone, even the ones living on Earth. It making them bad effects to our trees, our plants, and even like ocean life, which isn't good at all. When it comes to human made stuff, making stuff that help us breathe and get through life every day, making us worse and like destroying it isn't good at all. Because coral life is basically trees to us. Is another thing of trees. It's a part of our ecosystem. And that's what I really learned about. Like I never knew that like coral reef is like basically a tree. It's part of our ecosystem. It's like it's mainly part of our ecosystem. Sorry about that. But it's most about like it's just really helpful to us, to our ecosystem. The more that coral dies, the more closer that coral animals get to extinction. Shows that like it basically is saying like so much coral is dying over and over and over that like we need to like find a stopping end to it to stop this from happening. Because once coral dies off or goes extinct, or even trees, like this is like such a big deal to our ecosystem, it would just like it'll eventually start erasing like human life completely. Because without oxygen, humans cannot cooperate right or even survive on Earth. Oxygen is like one of our biggest things that we need in life. So I feel like that coral reefs is very important to us, and we should like act like it's important to us to where we actually do something about it, keeping them alive. Coral reef is a fundamental part of the whole ecosystem, like plants and trees. Basically, just what I was saying. It's just a quote I got from the film. And I really like that a lot because I feel like it's actually true. It's like I didn't like I said earlier, I didn't know about coral life being a part of our ecosystem. I thought only trees was, and only trees could like, help us breathe, plants. But like learning more about it, like it just basically like opened my knowledge for it, and like maybe just wanted to like wonder and think, basically just like what else is there in the ocean that is helping us survive every day that isn't on the earth. I mean, it's on the earth, but like isn't on land. It just brings more curiosity to my brain. Then also the fact that I had got is like that 29% of coral on the Great Barrier Reef has died in 2016. To be honest, that's a lot. That's a lot in 1 year. Just coral reef dying. There's a lot of like deaths in just in general. 29% out of 100 is a lot. It's 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 just not like acceptable for it. With that being said, like coral reef is, I mean, no, the Great Barrier Reef is almost like one of the biggest reefs, and it's one of the biggest reefs on Earth. And I have a note for it. I gotta find it, but it is though. Yeah, from where Dr. John, aka Charlie Byrne, he states that the Great Barrier Reef is the largest life on a coral reef on Earth, and I believe it is 20,000 kilometers. That's a lot. That's a lot to think about. Cause like, just imagine like that's like it's more than like one state. That's a lot of movement. And I also like that about this film is that them adding their inspiration for like the reason they got into learning about coral reef, and like the more invested to it. It's just showing that they really care about it. And I like how like I never knew who Charlie Byrne was or Dr. John. I never knew who he was. And then them just like basically just going into depth and showing them like how they came a part of it, how they like got interested in learning about it and want to make a change. And like it states that like Charlie Byrne was like the first guy to study coral, and then it also states that like from what I took, it's like coral have the capacity to build their own environment, to create their own habitat. What I took away from that is like basically it's just mind blowing. Like they're like basically like a plant can just make their own habitat, like make their own neighborhood at that. Like in all the videos I watched, like in the film, it just showed like it brought like their own living for sea animals. There's so much like animals that protects and live on it. Coral is like facts I also got from it is that coral is healthy enough to feed, protect, and heal humans. Coral and sea animals work together to protect and provide for each other. That's a good fact to me. I enjoy that. And then coral reef gives sea animals food and places to live while sea animals are protected. I feel like that's great team bonding that like I never knew about. Like team bonding that just work together just to provide for each other. And also just love learning about that. It's just cool. And also I still like going back to Charlie Byrne. I really enjoy like how connection is, and then how the dude like he basically just told how his story, like how he came into like learning about the coral, and how he like he loved Charlie Byrne. He watched all his videos to the point where him actually meeting Charlie Byrne became like his biggest goal, and he actually got to do it. And he was like basically just talking to your superhero. I feel like this would be amazing. Like the person that you never thought you would meet, you met him, and you had a conversation with about something y'all both enjoy doing. I just enjoy that so much. And then also, I just enjoy how like based on back to the journey and the trip of it. It talked about how they spent like 4 hours on the water every day for their voyage, and manually monitoring coral. And I believe I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's like they had 2 voyages. They had 2 teams in each voyage. One in the New Caledonia, and the other one in the Lizard Island. And I just enjoy like basically just them talking about their progression. I understand like that's a lot. Just spending 4 hours in a day in the water is like it's crazy. Me personally, I wouldn't do it because I can't swim, but it's just crazy. Like it's like learning that like they're really dedicated to what they're doing. Like they really actually enjoy doing what they do. And then also thing I like is that like while watching the film is that basically just the core like it said in New Caledonia, the core made a weird change, a change that they never expected before, a change they never seen. It's when like the core has started gaining like protective layers, to where they're like protected from the heat, and it started glowing. And I like me watching the film, just seeing the coral as it just changed. It actually like it very like it's eye catching to me, to where I just like I actually like thought about like learning more about the coral reef and basically how it changed and like learning more about it. And like to me, like based on my opinion, it's just like it seemed like the coral reef, the coral adapted to its issue and started producing protective layers to basically just protect itself from the heat that humans are producing on them. And then my final part would be that I had wrote it down. Would be that this film showed that what they're doing isn't just a job. It's way more than that. You can tell based on their emotion during that whole film that showed their passion for what they're doing. I like how the whole film is something bigger based on the ending. I was surprised to see them actually having a solution and implement it by having presentations to bring awareness to the bleaching, and also showing that the younger generation matter because eventually they're going to be the ones taking over and making the hard choices. I like that they chose to install it into kids to build their will and to explore more about it. I just enjoy it. To be honest, I enjoyed the whole film a lot, so I'll give it a thumbs up. But like, basically just me personally, like it made me like, I know like I'm a civil engineer major, so I'm learning about engineers, but my major don't really got nothing to do with like ocean matters. It does a little bit, but not a lot. And just me just learning about this like made me think about like changing my major low key. But I would like actually think about going into like marine science if I could swim, but other than that, I'm not. But actually, I give the film thumbs up though.